Here is how I grew microgreens indoors for the first time without any soil. Microgreens can be grown from various seeds, including vegetables, herbs, and even some edible flowers. Come join me today as I try out this experiment by growing microgreens indoors for the first time without any soil. To get started, you're going to need the following items: a container that you can use to grow the microgreens, a kitchen towel, microgreen seeds. I recommend buying certified organic seeds, a spray bottle for watering. Now, I get plenty of sunlight, about 4 to 6 hours is how much you will need in fall and winter especially. I get that amount of sunlight on my windowsill in the kitchen, but if you don't, I would recommend a set of grow lights. These are optional, but if you don't have enough space or if you don't think you get enough light in your house, this will definitely help grow the microgreens a lot faster. Step 2 is preparing your growing trays. All I'm doing for the growing trays is lining them with a piece of kitchen towel, and I have moistened it before I lined it up with it. The next step is to soak your seeds if they need to. Not all seeds are going to require this, but if you're growing peas, beets, sunflower seeds, these will germinate a lot faster if they are pre-soaked for at least 12 to 24 hours before you plant them. Sprinkle your chosen microgreen seed evenly across the surface of the paper. And unlike traditional gardening where you have to space out your seed, while growing microgreens, you have to densely pack them together so you can grow a lot of them in a tiny amount of space. And this is done so that you can maximize your yield. The peas need a little more space than beets do or some of the smaller seeds like these Asian greens do. I found that the peas were too overcrowded and were almost sitting on top of one another at the end of it. I am growing them in a straight line and I have split them up in 2 parts just so that they could have more space. So the second container is going to have a little fewer seeds than I would like to, but I had soaked these many, so I'm just going to make sure they are not crowding the main container of green peas. And water gently using a spray bottle so that you don't disturb any of the seeds. The next step is to provide darkness for germination. You can just cover it with a darker kitchen cloth or just a lid. And this is because most microgreen seeds germinate best in darkness. This will help you maintain moisture and humidity in the containers during germination. Place your covered trays in a dark, warm space for about 2 to 3 days until you see them beginning to sprout. The next step is to introduce light. Now, once your seeds have sprouted, remove the cover and move them to a well-lit area. I have kept them on the windowsill, and now I'm going to make sure that they get enough light during the whole day. I'm keeping them in a sunny window. If you don't get a lot of sun, especially if you live in a colder zone and are getting a lot of snow and rain right now, then I would suggest moving them under grow lights. The microgreens will need about 4 to 6 hours of direct sunlight if you're keeping them on a windowsill, and about 10 to 12 hours of grow light if growing in a darker room every single day. Maintain moisture and air circulation. You want to make sure you keep the soil consistently moist but not waterlogged. And here having containers with holes really helps because it just drains off the extra water. What I have seen in my seeds is that the bigger seeds retain better water than these tiny Asian green seeds. Those were almost dried out one day, even though I was spraying them in the morning and evening. I think it was just a warmer day and they had more sunlight than usual. After I had sprayed it with water in the evening, by the time I saw it in the morning, I thought they had almost died. So I would suggest keeping a close eye on them if they are more delicate seeds and give them more consistent moisture. And this is also more important because we are growing them in water without any soil. If you're growing them in soil or some other medium, that can help retain some of the water. Here we just have the kitchen towel, and that is what is helping you with keeping your moisture in place. But if you have tinier seeds, then it is possible that they might just dry out. Keep an eye on them and make sure they don't dry out. If you feel like you don't have a lot of air circulation in your room and it's a little bit stuffy, turn on a fan next to the microgreens. You can also open up your windows and make sure it gets a little bit of air circulation so that there's no development of mold or fungus on the microgreen seeds. It also helps to strengthen the stems of your microgreens, and it's not going to matter so much in terms of other vegetables that you're going to grow up to their mature height because those do do need very strong seedlings before they go in the ground. These are microgreens and you're going to harvest them early on, but just to prevent any kind of mold or rot or fungus, it helps when you have some kind of an air circulation in your room. I've wanted to try microgreens for a while because this space-efficient method opens up the door to year-round gardening and gives us access to fresh veggies without any seasonal constraints. And the best part is, you don't need a lot of space. You can absolutely grow them on your windowsill just like I have done. Microgreens are young, tender greens that are harvested 7 to 21 days after germination occurs. And typically they're about 1 to 3 inches tall, depending upon what specific variety it is that you're trying to grow. And the best way to think about them is they're in a stage between sprouts and baby greens, offering us a concentrated dose of nutrients and a delightful array of flavors and textures. You have seen these in restaurants where the chefs use them to create beautiful color and texture in their dishes. But unlike sprouts, which are eaten whole, and that also includes the roots, microgreens are cut right above the soil level during harvest. Here are some popular microgreen varieties that you can grow: broccoli, kale, arugula, radish, pea shoots, beets, sunflowers, basil, and cilantro. One of the most important reasons to include microgreens in your day-to-day diet is because of their impressive nutritional profile. These tiny plants are packed with essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. In fact, some studies have shown that microgreens contain up to 40 times more nutrients than their mature counterparts. Some nutritional benefits of microgreens include high concentrations of vitamins A, C, E, and K, rich in minerals such as calcium, zinc, magnesium, and iron, abundant in antioxidants and polyphenols. And the best part that I like about it is an excellent source of fiber. A tip on storing and using microgreens: microgreens usually are best to be used fresh. So I would highly recommend cutting them and using them fresh whenever you need to. However, if you really need to store them, or if you're giving them to your friends and family, I would recommend washing and drying them and then placing them in damp paper towels before rolling them up and putting them in a plastic bag and then refrigerating them or then giving them away. This way, they should stay fresh for about a week. I usually store all my herbs this way, and especially my cilantro. And I have tried so many different methods to keep cilantro fresh, and this is the best way that works. Sometimes it keeps cilantro fresh for almost 2 weeks. I hope you enjoyed this and had a chance to learn how easy it is to grow your own microgreens in any amount of space, and you can add these delicious, nutritious vegetables in your daily diet. Something I would recommend with the microgreens is to intermittently keep planting it even as you are growing the previous microgreen. So to plant seeds every 7 days if you want a continuous supply of them. I would recommend it if you can plant them every 7 to 10 days. One of the things I would keep in mind as you are growing the microgreens is that remember that every microgreen variety or vegetable is going to grow at its own pace. The pea grows faster than the beet or the Asian microgreen does. And this way you can have even different varieties that are ready sooner than later, and you can mix them up and try different vegetables. If you are a beginner like I was when I started this process, it was very easy to grow, and I'm so excited to use these in my daily diet. I'm going to do a taste test with you because I've never tried beet or the Asian microgreens before. I have had the microgreens and they taste just like young, sweet green peas. Let's try them together. So good. These taste so good on morning eggs. All right, let's do the beet. They have this kind of bitter undertone taste, but you know how if you eat the beet, you have like this slight bitter taste if you steam the beets and then it starts tasting sweet. These leaves taste a little bit like that, but they're much more milder in taste. And I wonder if that is because I've grown these in water. So maybe next experiment should be growing them in soil and trying to test them out. The umami Asian greens are a little bit more stronger than the beet ones. Still not as strong as the green peas. And I wonder if arugula microgreens might be very strong. I think I should try growing them. I also want to try growing broccoli microgreens, because they are very, very healthy and very nutritious, power-packed with a lot of nutrients. And broccoli is a difficult vegetable for a lot of people to like. Either you love it or you hate it. I have gone from hating it when I was a kid, I absolutely didn't like it, to I love it now. I really love broccoli. If I want to be able to incorporate that in my daily diet, microgreens is the best way to do it. And just a bit of the microgreens on your morning eggs, in your smoothie, on your salad, or your smoothie bowls, and that's it. You're done. Even if you just take a few of them and just eat it like a salad, I think that still constitutes a lot. I like the Asian microgreens. They're not very strong, but they also don't have that bitter undertone that I'm getting from the beet. Beet has just some kind of a smell, which is different. But I think my favorite ones are the green peas. These are my absolute favorite. I love it. These microgreens that you're using are also amazing for your gut health. The fiber in them is going to really help improve your gut health, especially if you incorporate it every day in your diet. And if you want to know some of my recommendations for specific vegetables that are gut friendly, check out this video right here.